Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome to a new year, 2024. I know it's been a minute. As you can see, my bathroom door is right here, and then you can see the blanket that covers my bathroom that's been occupied for a while. And I have stuff all behind me, and I've been battling a cold since my last cough. So yeah, it's all kind of been a whirlwind of things, especially with the holidays and all that. So I do apologize. That's the one thing that does kind of suck about working in retail necessarily, is that like the holiday season is so terrible for me, is that I'm so tired after I get home. And really not a lot's been going on in the department of signing people. I believe I went over and I talked about signing of Noriega, Pinto, and Rincon there, but I haven't talked about the three new signing. Well, two returning people and one new person. So we'll get into all that, but I just hopefully I'm hoping with me being able to kind of start with the website, which I guess I haven't talked about right now, is just strictly just kind of like uploads of stuff, like when I had with Cuello and Gonzalez. I know I missed Olivero. It's gonna take me a minute to get used to Deyni's last name. That's just how I am. I'm terrible with names and pronouncing names, so it's just gonna take me a minute to get used to saying his name. I'll eventually get it right, I think. Probably not. But with that, I think I'm gonna, once a transaction comes through and it's on a day where maybe I'm not going to be doing a podcast, like I'll be able to upload that, and then when I get enough of them, maybe I'll start doing a podcast. So I'm not sure how I'm going to revolve everything around. I was hoping to have a couple interviews starting off with this week to kind of fill some of January, but still trying to get that all worked out. So hopefully maybe the issue with some of the signings is I'm not really sure how a lot of people are with their English, and I'm not very good I'm not very good at English in general, but anything outside of that I know nothing about. So it's going to be very hard for me to say, if I see someone from the Dominican Republic, not saying that they don't have their English isn't good enough. It's just that I'm afraid that the questions I'm going to ask them are going to be too difficult, or not going to understand it. So I don't want to, like, it's just kind of hard. That's kind of one of those, like, when you get into kind of the season to see how people are, that's the way I'll kind of rope it around. So some of these, I think, like Nate Alexander and a couple of those guys, maybe I can try to get in contact with and get them on the podcast and talk to them what they're kind of expecting. I'm hoping to get Anthony on. That will hopefully bring Lamar on, working around on that. Bigger news before I get into the signing, the podcast before the big news broke of Ryan Zimmerman leaving the team and moving on to greener pastures. Great for him. Glad for him. I know he has the women's Vermont basketball team. He's got other stuff to worry about over there. I'm really glad for Ryan. I know this is a stepping stone job for anyone that is working in the realm of baseball or trying to get into a professional atmosphere, just kind of get their feet wet behind everything. So I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him. I'm glad I was able to get him on the podcast right before he left for school. I think it was a decision of his own to make that and to make a stepping stone. Listen, the one thing that I've kind of been like listening to sports and everything like that. It used to be your commentators, the local, like, I would say maybe outside of football, but like your baseball, your basketball, your hockey, with the local sports kind of area, you get the broadcasters that really get attached to the team and really kind of give them, you know, when something happens, they're excited for that team. And I know you're in a professional environment, that kind of stuff, and I think Ryan did a very good job of, like, if I'm listening to the game, if I know something, if I'm listening to the game, I don't quite, obviously can't see what's going on, and if I knew a big play were to happen, who it was, if it was a great diving catch from Mariaga, he's excited for that. And if it's a great diving catch from another team, like he calls the catch very well, but like the if you didn't watch the game, or you didn't understand who the players were, or whatever the case may be, and you're a RailCats fan, and I understand that some people may listen to it and not always understand what's going on. It's easier to dissect what was good and what was bad. And I think he did a great job of the in between. I know that you have to make your repertoire of when you're showing it to another, your calls that you wanted. I understand they wanted them to be unbiased to the situation, but I mean, if you're a part of the team, like, you want to be excited for the team. I take in accountability. I know a lot of people don't. This is just for my own. If you ever are interested, just to hear what I'm talking about. Go on to Mixler when the Rockford Ice Hogs are playing, okay? And Mike Folta is the play-by-play guy. A great guy, great guy. I like him. He's very good. But there's in hockey, there's line changes all the time. It's not a slow pace, so a lot of times you get kind of caught up into listening what's going on, and you're not really recognizing the names. And if the opposing team scores, you're like, who scored? Like, who was it? Good? Was it bad? Like, you're not gonna know, and you only know if they're at home, the horn blows. So, like, you're not gonna know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand that you want to play that unbiased culture, whatever the case. But I'm always a guy that's always for, if I'm listening to a guy, I want to be excited for the team succeeding and not when the other team succeed. I think if you listen around to the other broadcasters, and I wouldn't say like, I would say like Sam Brief, he is gone now from the Chicago Dogs. He's going to be a NBC sports producer for the Olympics. But listening to him, he kind of had the Dogs on his side. I think Dan Vaughn with Sioux City Explorers, he does a good job at that. A guy down in Cleveland, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I think he does. But like, I think Lake Country, they had two new guys and they were very unbiased. I think you kind of see that shift of older to newer, and I think Ryan played that position very well. I think in his first year, you're trying to play that both kind of like, well, I've been told to do this, but then you kind of get into it, and you understand the players. You get excited for the players, the players, so you're rooting for the players a bit more. So you kind of gain that attachment to the team succeeding because the players are succeeding. So it's gonna, Ryan, I thought from day one listening to him, he's gonna be able to go places. He has the voice, he has the talent, he has the drive to do it. He for baseball instance, he tells the game. He's able to paint that picture for you, but he's able to give you some facts, some good insights and outsides, and call the game very well. It's very smooth transition. And even when he's working with someone that, he normally doesn't want to, not that he doesn't want to work with, someone he hasn't worked with before or hasn't worked a little bit with, he makes the transition so much easier between the two. And I think he plays a very good role. I've listened to a couple of the basketball games. I'm not really a big basketball person. But I mean, he's so versed in everything he does, especially when he was doing football with Region Sports. You just knew that, someone that you hear him play, or you hear him during baseball season, he just smooth transition to football season like it was nothing. So he's very talented. I'm hoping he's able to go places, and one day maybe we'll see him on the national broadcast place somewhere doing something, and we'll say, hey, we listened to this guy before he was famous. So Ryan, hats off to you. I hope that you find what you're looking for, and find success. You're already one step way there. Keep the passion going, keep it driving, and the best of luck to you, man. Best of luck. That's all I gotta say on that portion of it. So let's go ahead and talk about Edward Cuello, who's coming back for this is his third official year. Sorry, it's still battling this cough. I was a lot worse the last couple days. As I'm recording this on Saturday, so I don't know when I'm going to post this, which is the 13th. I was still battling I was getting better, and then we started ripping on the drywall, and me not being very smart decided to not wear a mask or have a fan or anything going on there. So I'm just all breathing all that in. So that kind of kick-started it back up, but actually after having yesterday off, I was able to kind of like recover a little bit. So happy on that portion of it. But let's go ahead. We're going to look at Edward Cuello here. Looking at his ERA, he was a little bit further down in the field of that. But I mean, realistically, looking at he dropped his ERA by almost more than 3. From last year, or from the 2022 season to 2023 season. I know he was a little bit hurt here and there, but I mean, he right now is probably going to be the top of the rotation, unless Chris Irwin comes back. I know Deyni, he looks like he's going to be pretty good. I'll go through all his stats and stuff like that. I know I wrote it down in my little blog, kind of going over all his statistics and what I kind of thought, but really looking at it, he's going to be that dominant force. He has the ability to strike people out. The strikeout walk ratio, obviously strikes more people out than he walks people. He does give up quite a bit of hits, but I don't think that takes away from the talent that we know he has. I think last year really the offensive side really hurt the pitching side of things, because the pitching was dominant at times, but there was no offense to correct that. I know we all look at wins and losses, and he went 4-11, but really in this situation, he's just a tad bit over league average in ERA. So I think he should have got a little bit more run support in some of his situations. Not all of them. Like I would say they're like the July 8th one. They lost to Lincoln 5-6. He gave up 3 runs. They got a loss out of that. Just like a couple of those that were low scoring and didn't get really any benefit of the doubt. But then on the flip side of things, you look at some of the games where he gave up 9 runs and he lost 2-17. Like that, it just doesn't seem like the sometimes the team didn't, he only pitched 4 innings against Milwaukee. They came back, but he didn't get the game deciding factor in that one. So there's a couple of the wins and losses are just kind of hard to go by necessarily, just because of when they get pulled out of the game or whatever the case may be. Maybe you could say this is a bit of a down year, but I really think that he's a dominant force. He's always got a smile on his face when he's coaching first base, that kind of stuff. So I'm excited for him to come back to really show what he's able to do in that aspect of it. So I'm glad he's back, kind of solidifying that the starting pitching side of things. And then I know on his return, this is what Lamar Rogers said about him. He said, last season, Edward proved to be our most dependable starting pitcher, hurling over 100 innings. At times, he displayed ability and stuff to be one of the best starters in the American Association. In 2024, we'll be looking for more consistency from him, showcasing his talent that allows him to reach AAA in the Los Angeles Dodgers farm system. that's big to say. He did reach AAA. Obviously, the check mark of what Lamar Rogers wants, someone that plays there. He has pitched over 100 innings. He is dependable on that portion of it. If he can just kind of focus in on being more consistent, I would agree with that. I mean, probably a bit more consistent. He's going to be one of the top pitchers. So I know he has it in him. I know maybe it just takes a minute or two. He's only 25. So he has time to really hone in. He's just starting to kind of come into his prime, so we might be able to expecting big things from Cuello. So that's big. That's good to know. And then going on to Marcos Gonzalez. Looking here, I know he was kind of later into the season. He batted at 242, only played 26 games. He had 3 home runs, 11 RBIs. Just looking at him here, these could be big power numbers from him. I think Lamar Rogers said something like that. Once him get a full season in here, he's probably going to play that third base role, which is going to be key. He has he replaced basically Victor Nova because of his work ethic. Victor Nova got replaced because of his work ethic. But so I think these players that Lamar Rogers is bringing in and re-signing are people that you're seeing the positive, the work ethic side to the matchups that are going to want. So I think the work ethic is going to finally pay off. I think we're starting to see that bit of power that's going to come into what we were expecting from Lamar Rogers. I'm just wondering how it's going to fill out with the rest of the infield. What they're going to go with on that aspect of it. But this is what Lamar Rogers had to say for Marcos. Marcos returns for his first full season with our Cats squad after joining the team late during last season. Once again, adjusting to everyday play after platooning in the AAA for the Cleveland Guardians, Marcos showed positive signs of things to come. Display of power, clutch hitting, above average defensive plays at third. Also, his infield versatility and ability to play third, shortstop, and second base make him a welcome return to the team. Another thing, big power, good at bat, good defensively, and AAA experience. So I think with that coming from AAA, coming down here, which is essentially maybe a AA situation, this could be a good turnaround for him. He's versatile in the field, which we're probably going to need. I'll get to that one in a second when I'm going with that. So that's, he's only 24, so he has plenty of time. He 26 games, having 23 hits, he blasted a grand slam, that kind of stuff. He has that power that we're gonna need. And maybe that's someone that could replace maybe like a Sam Abbott role, but is able to play defensively more in that aspect of it, and hit at a consistent more bases going through there. So let's go ahead and we will get to Deyni Olivero, right-handed pitcher from San Domingo, Dominican Republic. That's not what I wanted here. He is 25, from Dominican Republic. He signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks in international free agency. Started his professional career in 2016 at the age of 18. He was in the All-Stars in 2018 and 2019, named Northwest Pitcher of the Year as a member of the Hillsborough Hops. He went 8-3 that year with an impressive 2.09 ERA and struck out 42 batters. This is what Lamar Rogers had to say about Deyni. Deyni brings us 7 years of experience as starting pitching in the Diamondbacks farm system, having spent the last 2 seasons in AA and AAA. His understanding and knowledge of pitching to hitters of higher levels add values to our RailCats starting pitching rotation. I'm just saying. okay, there's just other stuff there. When I look at his baseball reference here, all together, when you look at him all together through 7 seasons, so that's 2 seasons in I think fall rookie ball, 2 seasons in rookie ball, 3 seasons in total in single A, 2 seasons in triple A, and then 2 seasons in double and 3 in triple, which not like all the time. It just kind of combined of 7 seasons in general. He went 30, 32 and 26, ERA of 4.88. Runs against per 9 was 5.37. Games played 100. 82 started, 2 finished. He pitched over 456 innings, gave up 507 hits, 272 runs, earned 247, 52 home runs. That's now when you look at that, when I look at the years past here, it's either he gives up a boatload of home runs, or he gives up barely any home runs. Looking at a handful. Actually, that's a little bit later in his career, when he kind of reached with the his 24-year-old season, where he went from high A to double A to triple A, with all that jumping around. Really, that I could see why he gave up 21 home runs versus 154 hits. And then a couple years, I think they combined all those. So that was actually in double A, where he gave up 15 or 16. Hey, Thresh, can you not scratch the mirror? Thank you. Our mirror's also right there too. I'm just kind of looking at his baseball reference and what he's done. His home runs per 9 is 2. So I would say that's probably a bit high, but yet again, that statistic could just be a little bit inflated throughout the years a little bit. I think he brings he's going to bring a bit of actually my bad. His home runs per 9 is 1. I was looking at something else, is 1. So I mean, 1 home run per game. If it's just a solo home run, it's not that big of a deal, is it? No, not really. So I would say that's on the better side of things. His walk per 9 is 3.3, and I think really that's a big factor with the RailCats pitching, has been the lack of control necessarily, and I think giving up 3 walks per game. Now this is just what we're kind of playing with here, really isn't that bad to kind of deal with. There's been a couple, I would say in a full season he might give up roughly let's see, that's out of 140. So just taking the big picture, 141. Actually, let's go somewhere closer to probably what he would probably see in the American Association. It's 96 innings, and he gave up 34 walks. I don't think that's terrible to really give up 34 walks and 16 home runs. I mean, if that's what we're gonna be having to deal with, I think that's really good. And I think that was one of his better years. Well, actually, no, it wasn't. It was one of his worst years, where he pitched at 619. But really, a lot of his years are sub 5. There's only 3 years where it just kind of inflated a little bit. So I don't think we're really. I'm not really that concerned with bringing him in with control. I mean, it may take him a minute to get kind of used to the hitting, or the case may be, but I think he could be that battling that a nice 1-2 punch for Cuello and Deyni here, depending on who we bring back. But if this is the kind of people that we're bringing in, I don't want to sound like a broken record or anything, but it could be a better year. It really could. I think this year, Lamar Rogers has done his research. I think he said, you know what, I really got to look at this. I got to revamp it. And this is one way to do it, is maybe start with the pitching staff, see what we can find, and then get into the hitting aspect of. I know we're the pitching is outweighing the hitting here to a certain extent. But yeah, I'm not really sure how that's all going to kind of roll itself out. So one thing I did want to talk about, I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, is I don't know how this is all going to kind of work out to a certain extent. But I did hear personally and heard it like on the phone personally from Gio Diaz that he did sign with the Mexican League. Actually heard that from two people. One was himself, and now I don't know how that works because I think Jose Sermo signed with the Mexican League and he went to Cleburne. So I don't know because he got loaned. So I'm not sure exactly how that all works out on that front. If he does come back, if he's not coming back, I know he said he moved out to Texas to be closer to there. So I highly doubt he comes back. But if he did, that'd be great. If not, that's gonna be a hard hole to fill. Hard hole to fill. With his versatility, being able to play everywhere, the stolen base record, being able to hit consistently, to get on base consistently, just be that little engine that the spark plug the RailCats needed. It's going to be really hard to replace him. So I'll be intrigued to see how that kind of works out. If he's able to get loaned back, that would be awesome. It'd be great to watch him play again. But if not, I hope him the best in the Mexican League. He called me and I called him first, but then he didn't answer. I called him, or he called me back, and I was in the middle of lunch and I was getting ready to clock back in, and my manager was like looking at me like, "Hey, you clocked in, like get off the phone, like go on get it." So that kind of fuzzed out there in that front of it. But yeah, it's coming together. We're what, 5 months away, a little bit less than 5 months because it's the 13th, so about the 10th is opening day on that front, but maybe it's a little bit, we were on there. I think maybe not be opening home game. I think they're away first. I forget things. All right, I forget what I did 3 hours ago. Well, I was probably at work. Yeah, I was at work. But anyways, I'm just joking. I'm just being me. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the newsletter for the website, please go do that to get kind of up to date. I'm hopefully going to be able to start moving the podcasts and stuff over there. Not saying that like it's not. I'm not going to be posting. I'll still be posting on YouTube and Spotify and all that good jazz, but I just wanted to be like a home kind of pub, so when I do upload everything, it goes to like I'll have it sent to the website, so like I'll just send, if you want to go back and it all be into one kind of certain hub. I'm still working on the kinks and everything. Like it's a website. Like I'm not very smart in the head, so it's kind of hard to sit down and concentrate with all that. It took me forever to get that thing up and running. Like it took me almost a full year to get it up and running because I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and I got frustrated and I stopped for a while. But I finally started to figure it all out, so I'm hoping to ease into it a little bit more and start adding more and more to it and that front of things. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for me. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, X, or Twitter, whatever you want to call it these days. YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, yep, all that good fun jazz. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, and go Cats.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Wrap this one up in green and white.